So have you seen somebody with a 900 credit score? There are different credit score ranges, and I'm going to let you know what those differences are coming up. Hey everyone, if you've been trying to work on your credit and you have barely been seeing any results, you need to go ahead and take a look at the workshop that I just opened up that is currently free so that you can learn where you went wrong while you were trying to work on your credit. During that lesson, you'll learn the 4 don'ts when it comes to working on your credit, the mistakes people make when writing dispute letters, why you shouldn't only dispute with the credit bureaus, and also the accounts that people waste time disputing. Not to mention, you'll get to see real results from a customer who used my methods and they were able to get their credit straightened out and bought a brand new home within 7 months. So go ahead and sign up for that training today. The link is going to be down in the bio. And while you're trying to work on your credit, you have to see all 3 of your credit reports and scores. And My Score IQ, a company that I use for myself and for all of my customers, has a $1 7-day trial so you can see your credit reports and scores so you can know where you stand, because you can't work on your credit without knowing what's going on all 3 reports. So please check out My Score IQ. The link to them is going to be down in the description as well. Hey everybody, Will Frazier here, your credit expert, bringing you the tips you need to get your credit back on track, because what goes down must come up. And if you don't want your credit score to drop 200 points, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you'll be notified of any new video I drop just like this. So today we are talking about credit score ranges, and the reason why this is important is because you may have seen a plethora of different score numbers out there, and it may not be inherently clear, which one is the standard and which one is really your score. So I'm going to try to clarify that for you today. Now, this may be most notable if you've ever seen your credit score come back as a 900 or close to the 900 range, or really anything above an 850 or anything lower than a 300. So first, in order to understand credit score ranges, you have to know that there are different credit score models. So the different credit score models would be something like the different versions of FICO that are currently available. There's FICO 2, FICO 4, 5, FICO 8, 9. So there are different versions of FICO, which are like different versions of Windows on a computer. Every few years Windows updates and they have a new version that they include more features that are more up to date based on what's going on with the times. And the same thing happens with credit scores. They change them and update them as far as the scoring model goes in order to make sure that they're more up to date with the times and what's going on in the economic and financial world. Now that you know that there are different scoring models within FICO, so FICO has different scoring models, there's also different scoring algorithms. So now it's also important to note that there is FICO, there is Vantage Score, and then there are industry specific scores, which also adds to the confusion. So basically, the most standard scoring range is going to be FICO scoring range, which starts at 300 and tops out at 850. So of course, if you were down in the 300s, you have an extremely low credit score. If you were up in the 850s, that means that you have an extremely high credit score. Now, when it comes to Vantage Score, which is one that you won't usually see at a lender, or when you apply for something, you won't see a lender using this type of score. Usually when you use Credit Karma or anything that you pull yourself as far as credit goes, you're going to be seeing a Vantage Score usually. Now, Vantage Score 3.0, they actually changed the standard for what they used to have, and it is on the same scoring scale as the FICO, which is 300 to 850. Now, even though these 2 different scoring models have the same scoring range, they still calculate your score differently, so you will see different numbers even though you have the same information on your credit report. So now, here comes the kicker. When you look into FICO having different versions of the credit score model, basically you're also going to see that they have industry specific FICO credit scores. Now, based on those industry specific scores, that's where you are actually going to see a different score range pop up that you may not be familiar with. So that scoring range is going to pop up whenever you're applying for a credit card or if you're applying for a car. Now, why are there different industry specific scoring models? The reason for this is because basically you have your base FICO score calculation, which is the ones I mentioned earlier, like the version 2, the 4, the 5, the 8, and that's going to be your basic scoring model. What happens is when you're applying for a specific thing like a credit card or a car, the credit report history that you have in regards to those items is going to modify your credit score using those scoring models in order to calculate a more accurate reading of risk on you for those particular items. Because of course, just a basic algorithm scoring model isn't going to tell them how you would specifically perform with those two items, being a credit card or a car. So that being said, if you have a repo on your credit, or if you have late payments on a car specifically, your industry specific car score model is going to be a little bit lower than somebody else who didn't have the same type of negative car history as you do, even if they had the very same items on their credit report as you, outside of the repo, of course. Now, the scoring range for these industry specific scoring models is going to be 250 all the way up to 900. So if you've ever gotten a score back and you've seen that your credit score was, like I said, below a 300 or above an 850, it's because it was a industry specific score. Usually you would end up seeing that when you are applying for a car and sometimes for a credit card, as I mentioned before. So with that being said, these are the different scoring model ranges, and this is why you would see a different scoring range that would be outside of the norm of what you may hear people saying as far as an 850 being the highest credit score achievable. I know you may have been confused if you saw somebody above 850 or something like that. So hopefully this information was helpful and useful. I thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I'll see you guys next time.